This is the story of a zombie that nobody, including humans, dogs, or even chickens, fears. In fact, this zombie is so special that people actually want to be bitten by it. Yes, you heard that right. Our tale begins with a boy emerging from a tunnel in the ground. Meanwhile, a group of scientists is cooking up something shady, a supposed cure for diabetes. But their experiment goes sideways, and instead of curing anything, people start turning into zombies. And not to mention, our boy becomes one of these unlucky zombies, and so begins his journey. As our zombie stumbles around, we cut to a scene of couple driving down a lonely road. Little do they know, a sneaky man has laid down ground traps, causing their tire to blow out. Desperate for help, they accept assistance from the same man who set the traps. He takes them to his gas station, pretending to be their savior. This shady character is June, and he runs the station with his pregnant wife, Namjo. After fixing the car, June and Namjo slap the couple with a massive bill. When the husband refuses to pay, June's sister, Ghoul, steps out of the warehouse wielding a shovel. June, seeing the shovel, asks her, "Did you kill another one?" Panicking, the couple assumes they've stumbled into a family of murderers and quickly fork over the cash before leaving quickly. Namjo, who's saving up for a business, warns her husband that if he so much as touches that money, she'll break his hand. He eyes the cash greedily and suggests that maybe today, they should splurge on some meat. Meanwhile, our zombie has wandered into the village, also craving some meat. He tries to attack two women, but they effortlessly dodge him, thinking he's just a weird guy looking for a hug. Then some kids start throwing stones at him, laughing as he chases after them but can't catch anyone. Even a dog outsmarts him when he tries to chase it. It eventually turns the tables and chasing the zombie instead. The villagers watch this bizarre scene unfold like it's the evening's entertainment. Elsewhere in the village, a group of old men is playing cards. One of them, June's father, Menduk, is there when a young guy bursts in, bragging about how his ruined garden has miraculously revived and now he's planning to get married. The old men rush over to get his secret, leaving Menduk to sneakily swipe their money from the card game. Suddenly, strange noises come from the washroom. When they check it out, they find our zombie hiding in there. Menduk bravely approaches, but the zombie bites him and then makes a run for it. Outside, Ghoul is walking down the road when she spots the zombie heading toward her. Cool as a cucumber, she waits until he's close, then kicks him squarely in the nuts. But before she can finish him off, the dog from earlier appears, chasing them both down the road like a scene from a slapstick comedy. Just then, another man shows up with a briefcase. He's Men, Ghoul's brother, and now the two siblings are sprinting with the zombie on their tail, and Dog is behind them. Ghoul trips and falls, but just as the zombie is about to reach her, June roars in with his truck, accidentally launching the zombie off a cliff. June is devastated, thinking he's killed a person, but when they peer over the edge, they see the zombie standing up, totally unbothered, and running off again. The three siblings return home, relieved to have a moment of peace. But it doesn't last long. An ambulance arrives, bringing in a bandaged Menduk, who was apparently attacked by a young man earlier. Inside his trailer, Menduk daydreams about relaxing in Hawaii, sipping cocktails with tropical girls. Meanwhile, our zombie, still wandering aimlessly, ends up near the family's gas station. Ghoul finds the zombie munching away in the barn, and Menduk wakes up and, recognizing the zombie as the one who bit him, grabs a shovel to finish the job. But this zombie is tough. Just when things look bad, June swoops in with a flying kick, pinning the zombie to the wall with a piece of wood. But here's the kicker, the zombie isn't dead. In fact, he's moving around like nothing happened. The whole family, freaked out, bolts out of the barn and locks the zombie inside while they figure out what on earth to do next. The family grabs a phone and checks the internet, only to find out that other people bitten by zombies like the one in their barn have also turned into zombies. Now, since Menduk got bitten by the boy zombie, the family is freaking out, thinking he's next in line to start craving brains. They all take a step back from Menduk, eyeing him like he's about to sprout fangs any second. Meanwhile Namjo, in her panic mode, grabs a frying pan and smacks him over the head. They then drag him to his bed in the trailer house and seal the doors like they're dealing with a wild animal. In the next morning, the family is in full-on worry mode, debating what's going to happen to Menduk. Men has been doing some research online and starts explaining that humans go through several stages when turning into zombies. These include uncontrollable drooling and wild shaking. As Men lays out this terrifying process, Menduk starts showing the exact symptoms, much to everyone's horror. Soon, he's up on his feet, looking for a way out of the trailer. And of course, he finds one, the hatch on the roof. While the family is still deep in discussion, Menduk casually strolls into the house and sits down at the table with his daughter. Everyone stares at him, not knowing if they should be scared or serve him breakfast. But all Menduk wants is to eat, so he digs in. That is, until Men smashes a glass over his head and starts punching him, convinced his dad has gone full zombie. June, thinking Men has lost it, chases him away, telling he's doing wrong with their father. Meanwhile, Ghoul heads back to the barn and ties the zombie to a wooden post. But something strange happens. She starts feeling sorry for the zombie boy. She decides to help him out and offers him a cabbage, which surprisingly, he seems to enjoy. As for Menduk, he visits his old pals at their club. He takes a moment alone in the bathroom and notices something shocking. His body is acting like it did when he was young. He's so surprised that he doesn't realize his friends have gathered behind him, watching in disbelief as he turns into a young man before their eyes. They ask him what his secret is, but Menduk is just as confused as they are. When they take him outside and he sees his reflection in the mirror, it finally hits him. He's young again. Menduk, now feeling like he's hit the jackpot, returns to the barn in the best mood of his life. He dances around the zombie, convinced that the boy is the reason for his miraculous transformation. While his two sons, watching from the window, think the zombie virus is spreading through their dad's body. Later, one of Menduk's old pals shows up, begging him to help him get young again too. The old man wants a second chance at life, and he's willing to pay for it. This gives Menduk an idea. He could charge money for this and finally fund his dream of moving to Hawaii. Men, overhearing the plan, gets his own sneaky idea. The next morning, all of Menduk's old friends show up at the gas station with wads of cash, begging him to make them young again. Menduk is ready to make a killing. He takes the old men to the barn, where the zombie is supposed to bite them. But when they get there, the zombie is gone. Meanwhile, Men is driving away in a truck, having kidnapped the zombie to sell it for his own profit. But he's soon stopped by the police. He jokes around with them, but things get serious when one officer discovers the zombie in the back. Of course, the police think it's just a normal boy and haul both Men and the zombie to the station. Men tries to explain that it's a zombie, but the police chief thinks he's pulling their leg and nearly beats him. But that's when Menduk arrives with the whole family, convincing the police that the boy is their valuable zombie asset. The girl takes the zombie home, but Menduk announces his grand plan to make money off the zombie's youth-restoring bites, and now he's even more determined to get to Hawaii. The zombie, however, is not interested in cabbage anymore. The girl, trying to make the cabbage more appealing, adds ketchup, but it's still not quite right. Then she notices something terrible. The zombie's teeth are broken. How can he bite anyone now? Menduk's Hawaiian dream seems shattered before it even begins. But then, Menduk has a stroke of genius. He finds some false teeth and fits them into the zombie's mouth. Now, with his biting power restored, Menduk invites all his old friends back to the gas station. The plan: they'll stick their hands through a hole in the barn wall, and the zombie will bite them to make them young again. The first old man eagerly sticks his hand through, but the zombie doesn't get the memo. So the girl pours ketchup on the man's hand, and finally, the zombie bites down. However, after seeing this, the rest of the old men chicken out and start leaving. But the oldest man in the village steps up, determined to get bitten. Seeing his bravery, the rest of the men come back, and the zombie spends the whole night biting them one by one. By dawn, Namjo is stashing all the money in her safe, and Menduk is eyeing it with a grin. Around town, all the old men who got bitten are now celebrating their newfound youth. But back at the gas station, Namjo discovers that all her money has been stolen. The only thing left in the safe is a postcard from Hawaii. Looks like Menduk is making his dreams come true after all. At the same time, Men sneaks into the barn, kidnaps the zombie again, and tries to drive off to cash in on it. But Namjo has caught on to his plan and stops him before he gets far. Word spreads around town about the zombie's powers, and now everyone wants to be young again. Meanwhile, the girl has taken the zombie to a field full of cabbages, which is heaven for zombie, running around and munching happily. And now the girl is starting to feel a real connection with him. They even share a sweet, almost romantic moment when the zombie accidentally falls on her, but it's cut short when June comes flying in with a kick, ruining the moment. Back at the gas station, a crowd starts gathering, and the family thinks they're about to be attacked. They prepare to defend themselves, but it turns out the mob just wants to be bitten by the zombie too. Our guy gathers everyone around and says, anything's possible if the price is right. So, the family starts using the zombie to make serious cash. People from all over the state are showing up, eager to be bitten and turned young again. With all this money rolling in, the family moves the trailer into the barn, making it the zombie's new home. One day, the girl takes the zombie to a hair salon, and guess what? Underneath all that zombie-ness, he's actually a pretty handsome dude. When they get back home, the girl overhears Men on the phone, plotting to use the zombie to make even more money. Meanwhile, the police stumble upon some photos of the zombie and realize what's going on. The next day, the girl takes the zombie to the forest, loads him up with cabbages, and tells him to run away. She doesn't want him to be exploited anymore. As she walks off, the zombie follows her. They've grown close, but she makes her point by running off, leaving him behind. Back at the trailer, Men realizes the zombie is missing and starts searching the town, and eventually finds him right where the girl left him. He drags the zombie to the nearest bus station and buys tickets for both of them. Meanwhile, Menduk's friend is marrying a younger woman, but instead of kissing the bride, he bites her. All the people bitten by the zombie start acting crazy, turning into zombies themselves, and soon there's a full-blown zombie outbreak across the state. The chaos reaches the bus station, and when Men sees the zombies, he bolts, leaving his zombie behind. Back at the gas station, the police chief, now a zombie, attacks the family. Namjo hits him with a pan, but a cop shows up, thinking they've attacked the chief. Just as the cop orders them to get behind him, his own zombie chief takes a bite out of him. The family runs inside the gas station and barricades the door. June has a bright idea. He thinks he can reason with the zombies. He tries talking to one, and it seems to be listening until it suddenly grabs his head, trying to take a bite. Thankfully, Namjo saves him, and they barricade the place even more. At the bus station, Men is hiding from the zombies and cleverly uses his phone to play music, distracting them long enough to escape. Meanwhile, back at the gas station, the family grabs whatever utensils they can find to defend themselves as the zombies start breaking in. They make a run for it but forget the money box. June dashes back to grab it, but the zombies attack her. She barely escapes by climbing onto the roof. Just then, Men shows up, lighting fireworks to fight off the zombies. June tells him to stop before he blows up the gas pumps. With nothing else to do, Men releases the fireworks into the sky, but this only attracts even more zombies. The family sneaks into the barn and rests in the trailer. June and Men go outside, pretending to be zombies, trying to reach their truck, and they get there but realize they forgot the keys. To make things worse, they accidentally set off the sirens, drawing all the zombies to them. Their sister tries to help, but the zombies jump on her. Luckily, her friendly zombie doesn't bite her. Meanwhile, another zombie gets electrocuted on the roof, lighting up the gas station like a party, complete with music. The zombies swarm the place, and chaos breaks out. June runs into the gas station to grab the truck keys. Meanwhile, Namjo gives birth inside the trailer, and the sister fights to keep the zombies out. Her friendly zombie tries to help, but there are just too many of them. June finally gets the keys and throws them to Men, who starts the truck and drives off, smashing everything in sight. One of the gas pumps breaks, and gasoline starts raining down like a fountain. Miraculously, June makes it back to the truck, and they drive away, towing the trailer behind them. The girl looks back and sees her friendly zombie among the others. But something's different. He tries to speak to her. The other zombies think he's human and attack him. In a heroic act, the friendly zombie lights a lighter, burning the place down and taking all the other zombies with him, while the family escapes. But it's not over yet. June turns into a zombie because he was bitten earlier, forcing them to stop the truck and lock him inside. Just then, Munduk shows up, back from Hawaii. But surprisingly, he hasn't turned into a zombie, and it seems his body has fully adapted to the zombie virus. Soon, the family hears a strange announcement on the radio. A lady says that all of South Korea is infected, but the person who has fully adapted to the virus can cure everyone. Realizing they have the cure, the family sets out to save the world. 6 months later, they've cured countless people, thanks to some help from the friendly zombie, who's now human again. And turns out, if a zombie is bitten by a human who was once a zombie, they turn back into humans. Everyone's happy, except for one person, Munduk, because he has to bite all these zombies to cure them.